And now here to talk to you about making your product a success through the lens of Magic the Gathering, we have Gabe Ruiz from Pickpock.
Buenas tardes. Good afternoon. I first started playing Magic during my second startup. It was a software startup, and I hired a whole bunch of nerds. And so, of course, everybody enjoyed playing Magic, and I got introduced to it. And it was nice because I quickly understood that it kind of scratched the same itch as entrepreneurship and product management, which is good because that startup ended up costing me about $1 million. And I've spent a little bit less on Magic over the years. Not a whole lot, but a little bit less than that. That thing that I love, that itch that I have, is how to bring different ideas and different people together to create a unifying value, something bigger than what they can do by themselves. And that's something very similar with what you do in deck building in Magic. And that drive for unifying value and for discovery has kept me playing Magic now for, 15 years. And has kept me also working in production. So today, what is this about and what is not about? During this time, I've learned how to create some compelling decks and compelling products. And today I want to share with you some of the key learnings that I've had that hold truth both for deck building and for product. And hopefully find a justification for all that time and money I've spent in paper cards and digital cards that have dubious value. I think one of our investors actually started buying cards just to make money on them. Not a good plan. And like with any addictive thing, I think I need to be important that I give you a little word of warning. Please play responsibly. And most importantly, remember that regardless of what the giants of gaming seem to think recently, people are not consumables, okay? And there's no reason to treat people like expendable assets. So no chump blocking, okay? No blocking with people. When we talk about cards, we're thinking in terms of features, not of people. In Magic, like in game development, luck plays an important part of success. Press the wrong button, there we go. Play an important part in success. And some people, I actually have heard some people say that Pickpock has gotten lucky in being successful. I mean, horses, who knew, right? But like one of our founders likes to say, yes, luck was a factor, but that doesn't mean that we haven't stacked the hell out of our deck. It's not a direct quote, but when it comes to luck, you need to remember that game development is in Vegas. You can and should be stacking your deck. Luck is important and it plays a role, but you need to learn how to stack your deck for you to win. A very important principle is one that catches players early on, and it does, unfortunately, early producers as well. And that is that they see that they can have a minimum of 60 cards. And they go wild. 60, I can have more than 60 cards, right? But in decks and in product, more isn't always better. I know that the rules are minimum of 60 in a standard constructed desk. And I know that it's exciting sometimes to find that one card that is just overpowered. And you're like, yeah, if I just had one more card, this is going to be awesome. But that's not really how it works. In the same way, if you're doing discovery right, you're going to find tons of exciting opportunities that are almost as exciting as opening one of those crinkly packs of cards. I just love the sound that they make. It's great. It's a great feeling, right? And so you're going to have so many ideas of how you can provide entertainment. Ideas that come from your interaction with the player, ideas from your team, even your own ideas. But before you go around adding them willy-nilly, I want you to consider this. For each new card that you add to your deck, it makes it less likely that you will draw that card or that you will draw the rest of your cards. Every additional card makes it less likely. Time in Magic is measured in turns and drawing. And playing this card might take the place of a card that would have done a better job for you, that would have won you the game. And that's why, in my experience, people with 200 plus cards in their decks tend to be a bit of cranky. Quite often they'll be like, your turn, your turn, your turn. And that's because they need every possible turn in order to actually win the game. They need that next turn to draw this card at random and hoping that they will draw it at random. I have an awesome partner. She loves playing Magic as much as I do. And she's a no-nonsense type of person. So what she does is she just concedes. Whenever she sees the other player has 200 cards plus, she's like, I quit. I'm not even going to try. She's had so many bad experiences with players that way. Delaying the time to drawing or getting that perfect feature out, that feature that is going to move you forward, opens you up to taking damage. This is even before you take into consideration all the effort or all the resources in Magic that you're going to spend to cast that card that could have been used somewhere else. Please don't quote me on this math, but these are the odds of drawing a card from a 60 card deck versus a 250 card deck. One time, one of my first Grandmasters told me that the biggest power that the product owner or manager has is the ability to say no. I thought it was a bit of reductive. If that was all that I could do all day, I don't think I would enjoy my job. But he wasn't wrong. So as a product manager, it's important to choose carefully and sparingly what you put into your product. So during this chat, let's talk about 3 strategies that you can use for choosing cards and for choosing features going into your game. The first one that we're going to talk about is avoid conditionals, and we'll explain what that means. The second one is choose cards or features that match your abilities. And finally, concentrate your strategy. By the end of the chat, you're not going to be like an expert product manager or an expert deck builder, but I hope it will be a good place for you to start. Some principles that will help you get started. Let's talk about conditionals. If, when, unless, oh my. Conditionals are quite challenging. They're quite good for programming, right? There's nothing like an good if statement to help you get what you want. But when it comes to building a successful deck and stacking your deck, if statements introduce risk. Let's take a look at the card over here, okay? This is from the Nuke set, brand new, artifact creature, beast, and it has all this text underneath it. Patchwork Beastie can't attack or block, so it's pretty much useless, right? Unless there are 4 or more cards of different types in your graveyard. It might look like there isn't an if there, but there's certainly several ifs right there, right? First, you have to draw 4 cards, okay? Which I suppose is fairly common. But now those 4 cards need to have ended in your discard pile. And they have to be 4 different kinds of cards. So not only do you have to draw them and put them, they have to be 4 different kinds of cards. The more stacked conditionals that you have, the more likely that the card will do nothing at all. Now with some luck, maybe this will be a great card to have in your deck. But let's face it, luck tends to be more karmic than it is a lady, okay? So the more that you add, the less likely that you are to draw that. Likewise, when choosing a feature to add to your game, conditional statements are to be avoided. Another way of calling conditional statements is wishful thinking, okay? It's, if this happens. There can be things directly related to the platform. If I get featuring, that'll be awesome. If I get featuring, then this game will be successful. Or if Xbox won't make me play my game in the original Xbox, right? Xbox One computer, then I'll be golden. That's one kind of dependency. The other kind of dependency can be skills dependency. Like if I can learn pixel art, right? Or if I can have this awesome person that knows my engine just right. Now, sometimes you have no choice but to, right? Have something that is a conditional. So if you have to choose a conditional, try to choose the ones that you have some control over, okay? You are more likely to learn how to do pixel art, assuming that you have time, than you are to get Apple to feature your product, unless it's cluster duck. But yeah, even that, we've run out of luck recently. So yeah, okay? Try to select things that you have control over. Like in that previous card, right, there was additional text that said that you could choose to put cards from your deck into the discard pile. So there was some control there. If you have to choose something conditional, make sure that it's something that you can control, that you have some way of affecting. Next time, match your abilities. There's always room for growth, and I hope that you're always pushing the edge of your team and capabilities, but it's important that you choose things that your team has skills, preferences, and abilities in. Okay? Let's talk about magic. Play styles. Okay? Far left, we have a wonderful card that I use quite often, Search of Protection. Okay? It's an instant. Instants can be played nearly at any time in the game, which means that, yeah, you can play just about at any time. Which means you have to think a little bit about it, right? When is it the best time? Do I play it during their turn, during my turn, when I attack, when they declare defenders? That is a play style. Or the next one, another instant. If you don't enjoy that, and you don't enjoy thinking too much, that's a fantastic card. 3 damage, straight to the face, anytime. Is there really a bad time to just hit for 3 points of damage? There isn't, right? I won't judge you if you use Lightning Strike. However, I will judge you if you use Essence Scatter. It will require even more thinking. It will require remembering. Do I have mana up? Do I have the time? Keep the lands on tap. Wait for the opponent to be having a good time and then ruin that good time. If that's your style, that's fine. But make sure that you choose cards that match your style, that match your skills. In a team, what is your team good at? Pick features that use your team's strengths, and you will result in a better experience for the user and an increased chance of playing a winning hand. Now, I understand that sometimes you have to prioritize the player's needs and their preferences over yours. You're building a game for somebody else. But I invite you not to simply eliminate everything that makes you have fun, okay? The truth is that most developers will burn out if they're constantly working on something that they do not like or that they find objectionable. So make sure that you have a variety. And if you can't, there's a few ways that you can use to let some of that steam out in the way of lab days and game jams are a good opportunity to let people create really silly decks. And quite often, you might actually end up with something that complements your product. Finally, concentrate your strategy. In order to beat Lady Luck, concentrate your strategy. I love Magic because there's so many ways to win. And the main winning way, of course, the main one, I know there's others, is bringing somebody down from 20 points to 0. It's a simple way, but yet there's so many ways of doing it. You can deal damage directly to your opponent. You can have one of these clearing spells that just clears out your opponent's characters and just deal damage directly. You can have flyers, right? There's so many ways, and beginners often decide to pick up 4 or 5 different ways of winning. Expert players, however, know to select cards that match or complement their 1 or 2 winning strategies. Your winning strategy may be assembling a super awesome group of beasts. No, that's my winning strategy. Okay? And you might think, okay, I'm going to add something that deals damage. I'm going to add this. I'm going to add that. I'm going to add that artifact that if I can put 15 stuff on it, I win automatically. Those always look so good, but in reality, they're not that great. So it might be better to use something like what I do with my deck, something that gains me life, and that way it keeps me time to be able to win the game, assemble what I need. When I lived in Tennessee, I lived near, our nearest beer was Florence, Alabama. And right in the outskirts was Helen Keller's home. And I wondered, growing up, how can a woman like her, with so many challenges, accomplish so much? Well, apparently, she knew what vision was. There's nothing worse than having someone who is not blind and yet have no vision. It is your job as a product person to find and to share and to create, together with your team, a unifying vision. And then choose things that are opportunities or solutions that match or complement that strategy. Another way that vision helps you is it helps you to say no. Coming back to the beginning, in Magic or in product, more is not better. But how do you say no? And one way that you can do that reliably is by having a clear vision of how you're going to win. When you have a clear vision of how you're going to win, it becomes a lot easier to explain why this thing doesn't fit. To let somebody know, that person that is really excited about this feature, to be able to compare it and not simply say no, like my Scrum Master used to say, but to be able to show, here is our vision. Let's compare it to it, right? And now you have the opportunity for the person to see if it matches. And sometimes it does, and they convince you. But other times, they decide themselves, look, this isn't what matches. So having a simple, decided, concentrated way to win is important in Magic and in product development. Before adding additional feature, before pursuing a new feature, ask yourself, how does this match or complement our strategy, the strategy that we have? How does this match our vision? And only when it complements or matches that then do you think, okay, maybe we can put this in here? Even when you need to choose a different strategy, how many of you have word of pivoting over here? It's called pivoting and not restarting, because you're going to choose something around what the vision that you already have. So having that vision, having that clarity helps you not only in choosing, but even in pivoting, making sure that you have a clear vision. Very good. I think I might have plenty of time for questions, maybe not. So to review, okay? To review, product management, less is more. More is not always better, okay? In Magic and in product management, more is not always better. So to increase your chances of winning, you need to avoid wishful thinking, all right? So that's conditional statements. Things that depend on external factors, avoid those. Next, choose cards and features that best match your team and yourselves, preferences, skills, and abilities, okay? Finally, concentrate your strategy. Choose a clear vision of how you're going to win, and then build around that vision. Whether it is building a deck or having a product, remember to find that vision and work around it. Very good. Thank you to everyone. Thank you. I would love to hear what other similarities you see between MTG and product management. And you can always do that either afterwards, we can chat about it, or in one of this, what are they called, social media, okay? So thank you very much. Hope you found it helpful.